Hello everyone, welcome to the Jewish Week Online. We're here with the Jewish Funk team, and we had the opportunity to attend the Jewish Week's grand wine tasting at the City Winery in New York City. We're also going to learn why we burn Chametz before Passover. Let's take a closer look. Wines come from all over the world. Italy, Israel, Sweden, US. What do we have here?
It's a small selection of our portfolio of Italian and Israeli wines today.
And you know, one of the most important things for people is trying to figure out the right wines for their meal. And so for like chicken and different kugels, what do you recommend?
Usually I would go with start off with some lighter wines such as Chianti, maybe a Merlot and a Cab, and then go up a little higher. Today we were introducing the first kosher Brunello. That goes perfect for meat and chicken and types of turkey, but perfect for the Seder.
And what are the price range on the wines?
The price ranges of our wines at the tasting today go anywhere between $14 to as high as $50, $60 a bottle, with most around the average $20 price range. And
obviously you represent a lot of wines. What is the most popular?
Most popular varietal is always going to be Cabernet, but we're seeing a lot of Italian wines and Israeli wines becoming more and more popular here in the United States.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, today Skyview brought a full range of kosher for Passover spirits. Since I cannot display my wines because we have every winemaker here and I don't want to piss anyone off, I decided to do spirits, and people are loving it. We have kosher for Passover tequila, Slivovitz, new mojito, and sea breeze that you just pour right out of the bottle over ice. We have a rock and a number of other vodka, gin, and people are just really drinking them down nicely.
And you know, Passover now can actually be more fun with a little bit of spirit. You said you had a mojito, so that's kosher Pesach.
No pun intended when you said that Passover can now be more fun with a little bit of spirit. But if you add these spirits from Skyview, yes, you will have a lot more fun.
Yeah. And what are the price ranges on these?
They're actually very reasonable. The Slivovitz is $29.99. The tequila is probably the most expensive, and that's $55.99. The vodka is $23.99. We have a kosher port, which is $19.95. The new mojito mixes are $14.95. So they're really all very reasonably priced.
My name is Leon Zinger, and I'm here at the Jewish Week annual kosher wine tasting. I'm a big enthusiast of wine, and I like the process of wine tasting, trying different wines. And one of the biggest problems is if you drink kosher wine and exclusively kosher wine, in recent years it's only become available to the community who follow kashrut, laws of kashrut. And it's something that I feel is a great educational experience and also very entertaining, a great place to get together with friends. And I'm having a blast. I've been here last year, and I'm looking forward to being here next year as well.
Great event, wide variety of wines. Liked a lot of the cabs, especially the Petit Castel, really good. 2009 was a great year.
Hi. We came here because there was 150 wines to taste, which were amazing. As
Lovely.
We tasted about 149.99. And what did we like?
Personally, I like the Seagulls Unfiltered, which was very nice. The Atir Forest was also quite good. And there was a lovely Gewürztraminer, which I'm not familiar with. What was the Gewürztraminer?
The Gewürztraminer was up by Dalton's next one, and the one down there by... Who was there?
I don't know. But
Dalton and someone else.
I mean, you can't expect us to know where everything was after like 2 hours of drinking wine. So like, figure it out. But it was very good. Had fun. And I don't know what else you want me to say. Good wine.
Looking around this event, there are just so many wines. Tell us what you've tasted, what you like.
Well, you know, there really are a ton of tremendous wines here today. In particular, there were some amazing high-end wines being poured at some of the tables. You have the new Siegel's Unfiltered, you have the Cave, you have the Yatir Forest, Kapsanis Perach Aviv. Just really an amazing list of high-end wines. Herzog sent their, I believe it's the Napa Valley Reserve. Gorgeous wine. So there really are a host of high-level wines available to all the amazing people who've turned out for this tremendous event today.
And you know, kosher wine has evolved. Now it even is eclipsing, in some cases, you know, non-kosher wine.
It's surging. Yeah, kosher wine is surging. The quality. Well, people are demanding it. It's all about demand, and I think that a big part of that demand came from Israel, where a lot of people from Israel began traveling throughout Europe, and they were tasting the food and drinking the wine, and they were saying, why can't we have food like this? Why can't we have wine like this? And they really demanded a higher quality, and that's what we've been seeing in the last 5 to 10 years, is really a surge in the quality of both kosher food and kosher wine.
So I like whites. I mean, I would say I'm beginning to really get into the whole wine experience. What do you recommend?
You know, there's some amazing whites out there, and it depends. I also love whites, and I've spoken to some people who don't like whites, but what a lot of people don't realize is that white wines are much more versatile in their food pairing. So, you know, I tasted a really nice Sauvignon Blanc that was made here at City Winery. Off the top of my head, there's a dinner tonight for Castel. On the opposite end of the spectrum, a really full-bodied white wine made in the Burgundian method is the Castel C Blanc, which is a Chardonnay that goes through its full fermentation and stuff in the barrel. And so there really are just a ton of different whites in between. There's the Carmel Ridge white, is a real friendly, easy-drinking white, and then there's the Herzog Russian River Chardonnay. So there's amazing whites out there as well.
And I love red meat. I love meatballs. And what would you recommend to pair with meatballs?
Well, you know what? It's a great question. Meatballs would definitely go well with red wines. But with the meatballs, I'd say it depends on the sauce. If you're talking a sweet and sour sauce, for sure a nice Zinfandel. If you're more of a savory person, if it's more of a salt and peppery, you can definitely go with a good big Cabernet.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
What is the correct way to drink wine?
The best way is with friends, always. But once you've opened the bottle, the best thing to do is to let it breathe. And in this case, we're going to do so in the glass.
Okay.
So we poured it into our glass, and we just give it a couple swirls around, just trying to thin out the wine against the walls of the glass.
Yeah, you can see like the little bubbles sort of like rising a little bit.
Exactly, as the wine just kind of crashes onto itself in little waves.
Right.
And then as it falls, sometimes you'll start seeing what looks like little tears. You can kind of see these are very clean glasses. And this is usually a sign of the tannins that it has, the kind of body and structure that it's going to present in your mouth. Now that it's breathed a little bit, you have a bouquet of smells that are just collecting here in the glass. Perfect for...
It's a great aroma.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a nice, young, fruity scent to it. Nice little bit of strawberry jam. Just a touch of smoke from a little bit of wood. And your first impression when you get the wine is the most important, because that's the first response your nose has to the aromas. It's like your first impression when you meet someone. After that, you can get to know what they like. But this is the most important moment.
Right. And what's the correct? Is there a correct way to drink it?
A correct way to drink it?
Yeah.
I usually do one sip at a time. Let it slowly pass over your mouth. Let it explore all the areas in your mouth. Your tongue and your cheeks all have different receptors that pick up different things about the wines. So this is important to just swash it around, because you might find new things every time that you sip on the wine.
And what's the price range on this?
And this Cabernet, you'll probably find it in retail stores here in New York around between 12 and 16, depending on the retail stores.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
What we currently have available as a wine ready-made, so we have the Napa 08 Cabernet Sauvignon. That's from Rutherford, and that's what I believe you have in your glass. And we have a Malbec from Argentina, from Mendoza.
Yeah, and I think this is it.
The Malbec, very fruity.
I gotta say, I haven't had a wine that's just like all the flavors are they're popping
out. Yeah. So that's exciting about this Malbec. That it's extremely fruity right up front. You pop it and you drink it. It's perfect for right now. The Cabernets are a little bit more complex. Maybe you can age a little longer. And that's for the red wines. We also have Pinot Noir from Oregon, from Willamette Valley. We're the first to make Pinot Noir from Oregon, so it's a unique thing to have. And then we have whites that we just bottled this Friday. It's a Sauvignon Blanc from Long Island. I went down there myself and my brother, and we pressed it and we made it kosher, and David guided us through the whole process, and it's something amazing. It has some residual sugar, people like it, and it's something.
And so tell us, how do you make a kosher?
Well, in order for a wine to be kosher, it has to be handled by an observant Jew from beginning to end. So that's what we do. And even when the wine stays here overnight or anything, it has to be sealed with two seals. We have a special tape that we tape everything up, and we sign all the tape so it's not tampered. And if anything needs to be done to the wine, it's only me and my crew.
Right. And I think that's part of the exciting part of kosher wineries, where now, especially in the city, there's options for people who are wine enthusiasts.
Yes.
And what are some of your favorite wines?
My favorite wines. I like City Winery wines because every wine is true to its variety. That's what I like about a wine. I want a cab should taste like a cab. A Pinot Noir should be a Pinot Noir. Our Pinot Noirs are light Pinot Noirs in color. That's what a Pinot Noir should be. So wines that are true to their variety, I find Four Gates. You also make small batches, but very true to their variety. And I like some of the Israeli wines are pretty good. It depends on my mood.
Right, sure. What would go good with potato kugel?
I have this theory that people drink too much red wine Friday night. I think an oak-aged Chardonnay is the perfect pair for a Friday night, typical Friday night meal.
So why do we burn chametz?
We burn chametz because we want to eradicate any type of leavened bread in our midst, and chametz represents haughtiness inside of us. So we want to find that little moment and just get rid of it to the best of our ability.
And why can't Jews own chametz?
We don't own chametz because at the beginning of our redemption of a people, we start out and we say we want to begin with the simplicity of it all, without any extras, any hooplas, just our relationship with God, the most basic man.
So why do Jews sell chametz?
A loophole, called a rabbinic loophole. And the reason is that some Jews in the Middle Ages in Eastern Europe had a lot of liquor, and it was their business, and if they would get rid of it, they would be starting a new business. The rabbis found a way that if they sell it, it doesn't belong to them, and therefore they don't have to, if you don't own it, you're allowed to see it, you're just not allowed to own it.
So what determines whether what you can allow to sell as opposed to burn?
You can sell anything you want. The reason we burn stuff is because we also should have part of that mitzvah of getting rid of it. And if you just sell everything, they don't get an opportunity to actually get rid of something.
But you could just get rid of a very minimal amount and then sell everything.
You could.
But would that be in the spirit of Pesach?
Loopholing, yeah. I mean, that wouldn't
Isn't it only something you're supposed to need for your livelihood?
No, but we've expanded it today as well. I mean, people do it beyond that as well.
As you can see, there's some fantastic wines and liquors to enhance your Seder table. And we learned a lot about why we have to burn our chametz before Passover. This is Aaron Herman. Thank you for watching.